welcome to WyoToday Sports Live here on 101.7 KDNO, your weekly Fremont County sports. We also dabble a little in state and college and just whatever's going on in the sports world. Here, I am joined, as always, by Cody and Baylor Beers. How's it going, guys?
Going well. Sad to not be in Laramie today.
Hey, it's Friday, and I'll be in Fresno State tonight getting ready for Wyoming Cowboy football.
Fresno's not a state. But
Exactly.
It's
Well,
not.
neither is
You're
Boise. But we've had a lot going on this week. Of course, on Wednesday we had two signings at Riverton High School. Two Wolverines committing officially to play sports at the next level. We'll start off with Alexis Taylor, two-sport star at Riverton, women's basketball and volleyball. She signs with the South Dakota School of Mines.
Engineering school.
Yes, to play volleyball. Had a chance to talk to her, guys, and first and foremost, education. That's what I've heard about that school. It's hard to get into. Wants to be a biomechanical engineer and develop prosthetics, or wants to get into stem cells. So they signed her, and she's going to be joining their mascot, which I thought was kind of cool, kind of funny too, Grubby the Miner, as a member of the Mines volleyball team.
Well, just signing at the next level is a big deal, but the chance coming off an all-state season, one of the only players from this area to make all-state, that's a big deal too, and so congratulations to her.
yeah, I think it's an awesome honor. I mean, it's an exciting place to be, playing sports at the next level. So congrats to her.
Education high on her mind, and we wish her the best. Of course, Wolverine faithful, you've not seen the last of her. Of course, she is the starting number 5 for the Lady Wolverines and Coach Bosner, so she'll be getting ready to suit up here in December, already practicing, of course, and of course, not to tease anything, we'll get into that a couple weeks from now. Yeah, but Bosner returns every single player from that team, sans one. So, of course, immediately after that, finalizing his commitment, which has been verbal for quite some time, to the Thunderbirds at Casper College, is Hunter Saltzgaver. Had a chance to sit down with him. He's kind of a little more all over the board on what he wants to major on. He's looked at health sciences. He's looked at finance. He's looked at PT. So he'll figure that out. Did get some news on him. He's in a sling currently, and he expects to be out of that sling by Christmas. They've kind of given him that he could possibly play in part of his indoor season with one of his club teams for soccer. It looks like he hasn't fully decided on that yet because he doesn't want to jeopardize his senior season with his teammates in the Wolverines. He has made at least a 90% decision not to play with them at Turf Wars, since that's so early on, and risk it. But he did actually get out and kick a ball around this past weekend. Upon which he said his mom wasn't overly happy with that since it was so close to surgery. But he is progressing nicely, and we wish him all the best. And of course, going to be a Thunderbird. He has wanted to play for Coach Ben down there since 8th grade. Or before. In fact, the coach, when he was recruiting him, had letters that Hunter had written him about what he needed to do to be able to play for him.
That's really cool. Congrats to Hunter. The nice thing about a collarbone injury is it's something that's not going to last very long, so he will be able to play this spring at least. And then, just going on to the second level once again, great accomplishment. Soccer has always been his primary sport. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And, say what you want about soccer, but it is a physical game, so I understand why he might sit out the winter program, just to protect that for the senior season, outdoor season.
Absolutely, Cody.
Well, I had a package to take over to his house last week, and he showed me all the divots in the walls at their house where he practices soccer. He was kicking a ball the entire time that I was there. We talked about what it was like to stand on the sidelines and watch his teammates in the state semifinal. It absolutely drove him crazy. He was walking the sidelines the whole game. We were watching him up and down. He'd go, and I know he wanted to be out there desperately. But things that we talked about that night is he's a good student, 3.7 GPA. He's got an opportunity with his coach's endorsement to possibly play in the Shrine Bowl. So his football career may not be over yet. He may get one more game. He found that he loved a game that entering his junior year, he was thinking about quitting. And we've written about that, but he's just an outstanding young man. Also want to give tip of the hat to two other players with the Wolverines who were injured last week. Blake Gantenbein, we got some news about his knee. He's got some severe problems with that knee caused by a hit in the first half against Green River. And then Braden Martin came out about the same time Hunter did, and he's got some knee issues too. So he's just a junior. He'll be back next year, but Riverton put up a valiant effort, missing 3 starters and playing like their life depended on it against Cody. So good stuff, and congratulations to Hunter and to his future and to all the seniors, 15 deep on the Wolverine squad.
Well, and as we look for, of course, Blake's injury is a multi-sport affecting injury. Of course, he's expected or was expected to be a vital member of Coach Bo Sheet's Wolverine basketball program. He's been with the varsity squad for the past 2 years, JV before that, and of course, when you lose 13 seniors in the past 2 years, guys coming up are very important. So we wish him the best, and hopefully everything gets through of that nature. Now, we're going to kind of move on to something that we had a young man come into our office yesterday. Couldn't have been 10, I don't think, but maybe 10. With the Fremont Freeze youth hockey program, big here in this county. And I'll say this: I want him to train our sales reps because he did a really great job. The young man did, and he was dead honest. He's like, the Fremont Freeze right now, we're hurting for some funding, so they are selling sponsorships. They've got gold sponsor for $1,500, it's a 2-year commitment, nice big dasher board side. That's what we're probably going to do, and a silver sponsorship for half that. If you've got any questions about that, you can reach out to Ryan Hamilton at R Hamilton, that's RHAMILTON at 10 hockey.com.
Well, the weather's not cooperating right now with hockey, and
70 degrees today.
no ice is a problem in Fremont County, and that's a bigger issue that this community's talking about in Fremont County about possibly building something in the future, but it's always an issue when we have a warm fall. That hockey team is one of the state's best, and it's probably the hockey team that gets to spend the least amount of time on the ice.
Yeah. So, of course, now that we move on to our review of last week, usually this is a little bit more positive, so to speak. But, of course, all 3 of our broadcast teams falling last week, 2 of them by rather large amounts. Of course, Thermopolis falling as Rocky Mountain, not Rocky Mountain, Bighorn heads to the state championship game, number 1 team in 2A, and boy, they showed it last week.
Bighorn with a chance to repeat.
Oh, and a very good chance, because we've seen Thermopolis play the 2 teams in at Bighorn and Mountain View in the past 3 weeks.
Grable. They played Grable in the state championship, I believe. No?
Mountain View made it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mountain View, number 2 team in the state. I'm gonna verify because I pulled it.
Around.
I double checked it this morning. Let's just make sure.
Is that right, Baylor?
I don't know.
2A is.
I thought it was Grable, and I was giving the Buffs more credit than I should.
2A is. Oh, that's 2A's today. Let me scroll back. Bighorn versus Mountain View.
All right.
At noon.
My bad.
We've seen them face both of them. Mountain View, good team. Thermopolis just kind of did they just gave up a little too much too early and started to crawl back. Bighorn, Thermopolis was never really in it. Bighorn just showed what they're all about. Of course, then Lander had the unenviable task of going to Star Valley, and kind of hung with them about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, a little bit of the first quarter, maybe the entire first quarter. Had played decently well, but just Star Valley showing what has led them to, I do believe now, 33 victories in a row. They defended home turf. And so they will advance, of course, to face what has become kind of a rite of passage for them, but also a rivalry in Cody. As again, Cody comes in, Riverton gives it all it has with all the injuries they have, but just Cody scoring with under 5 minutes to kind of seal it away. And you can tell, the what-if games with the fan base start because of injuries and things of that nature, but also injuries for Lander Valley. But so it kind of, when you look at the state championship guys coming up, it's basically paper across the board for all 5 classes.
Well, this Star Valley team comes at you in waves, and they like to throw the football. They don't run it very much. Cody, on the other hand, likes to run. And they've got a junior quarterback, Cash McFadden, who scored 4 touchdowns against Riverton. And that winning drive culminated with 1:40 to play in the game. And it was a drive where, and Baylor needs to jump in here, but it was the first time the whole game when I thought Riverton was starting to get tired. Most of their guys have been going both ways in the game. And that running game was just too much in the end. But throughout this contest, very evenly matched teams, despite the injuries. And, Riverton shut down a 1,200-yard rusher. He was held to 26 yards. That's Cannon Grant. And the difference in the game proved to be the junior quarterback who runs the heck out of the football. And when he broke the early 46-yard run in the first quarter, Baylor and I kind of looked at each other, and it felt like we were going into another episode of Groundhog Day. But didn't happen because after that, Riverton was able to shut down those runs up the middle. And it was just a great football game all the way around. Riverton needed another couple minutes, and they might have gotten it done, but tip of the hat to the coaches, to the program, to the fans, and of course to the players. 15-member senior squad goes out knowing they left everything on the field.
I think it was a great game. It came down to the wire, like we said, and really after that first initial run, I don't have my stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Riverton did not allow another rush over 10 yards the rest of that game, which contrasts that to week 1 of the season when they played Cody in Riverton. They gave up 5 runs, I think, of more than 60 yards. So it was a great showing by the defense. We knew it was going to be a dogfight going in. Despite the injuries, it's really easy to play the what-if game. I've been thinking about it all week, but it's not just the injuries, but it's also,
turnovers.
There was two interceptions there on as Riverton was driving down the field in Cody territory, and that could have been a 14-point swing right there for Riverton. It's the game of football. That's why we love it. It comes down to the wire more times than not. So, but I am excited because obviously Hunter didn't play. But Riverton was able to rely on the passing game in that game versus the rushing game, and so we've ran all season, mostly because we didn't need to pass. But it's nice, a lot of offenses in the state are one dimensional; they can only run or they can only pass, and so the fact that they were able to switch that strategy in 1 week, I think bodes well going forward for the juniors who will now be the seniors, and for the future quarterback Cam Vincent.
Well, and credit where credit is due. Cody and Star Valley at that level have been seen as the elite 2. And when you come into a hard place to play, Riverton crowd was loud. Coaches had them well prepared, guys playing above their status, so to speak, having to step in for injured players. And Cody did what it took, just like a lot of them did. Because like we said, state title, with one exception, is 1 versus 2. So we're going to get into that. We're going to pick these. These don't count towards our pick'ems because it's high school. So we're not going to, but we're just going to kind of give our thoughts here. And we will start with the game that kicks it all off today at noon in Class 2A as Bighorn and Mountain View will face off in War Memorial. Thoughts, guys?
Well, I just think Bighorn is strong, and they are looking for their second straight state title. They're playing with a bunch of seniors, and I think they'll get past Mountain View. But it could be, a 2-touchdown, even a 1-touchdown game. So it could go either way depending on who commits the most penalties and has the most turnovers.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't know if these teams faced each other during the season. I'm guessing not, because they're kind of on different sides of the state. But it's kind of, from what I've seen from Bighorn, they can handle the big game. They know how to take care of business. So if I were to pick a winner, I think Bighorn takes this one and they repeat as state champions.
I agree with you guys. Mountain View is going to have to, their margin for error in 2A, Bighorn, at least on paper again, is a big stretch above everybody else this year. And so Mountain View's going to have to take care of the ball, maybe even try and find a way to limit Bighorn possessions as far as using some clock. But right after that, of course, at 3 p.m., is the 3A game that we all wish we were at, as Cody will face Star Valley. I guess I'll go first with this. I think Star Valley takes it yet again. Winners of 30-plus in a row. They grown big on the farm, so to speak, and they look everything. They look as good as everybody wants to give them the accolades for. Cody?
Well, the weakness for the Cody Bronx is their pass defense. The strength of Star Valley is their passing offense, and I think you're going to see that. I think Star Valley went up against Cody earlier in the year. It was a 14-7 game, and I think they purposely didn't show Cody everything they had, because I think they thought, we're going to meet these guys for the 6th straight year in Laramie, and it'll be Star Valley, I think, with the passing game being the difference.
I also think Cody isn't quite as well-rounded on offense this season. I mean, we've seen games where they've thrown interceptions. They make those mistakes that they typically didn't make. And Star Valley's defense, I'm assuming, is the same as Riverton's. They're going to make Cody drive the ball down the field and earn points, and that's where you allow a team like Cody to make a mistake and hurt themselves. So I do think Star Valley takes this one, but I would assume, or I hope so. I hope it'll be a close game.
Well, and the wild card in this is Cody quarterback Cash McFadden. Mm-hmm. Can Star Valley stop that youngster? He's a heck of a football player.
Now we go kind of more into the area that I covered all year with Game of the Week type stuff, and we go to tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., nice, bright, and early. Of course, we were there 2 years ago with Wind River as they faced off. But 1A 6-man state title, 1 versus 2. It is Little Snake River versus Burlington. Baylor.
I mean, I think you got to side with the number one here. Little Snake River's just dominant. Somehow that little town of Baggs produces fantastic athletes, and I think they'll run away with this one.
Burlington does its job, and they have done it for a long time in the 1A ranks. I like this Burlington team, but Little Snake playing at the coolest 6-man stadium in the state of Wyoming is going to take this one.
I'm going to go with Little Snake River. When I covered the Du Bois game last year, first round of the playoffs at Little's in Bags, and I have never seen corners cover for 12 seconds, 13 seconds. This is a team last year, I want to say, during the regular season, allowed 16 total points during the regular season in 6-man. I think just defensively, Little Snake River, good luck to Burlington. No slight on them. They are number 2 team in the state. They're tough. they're going to have to play tough, but also for the team out of Bags, Little Snake River cannot overlook it. Can't just think it's ours, it's heir apparent, and I doubt they will. But following that up at 1 p.m. is our only non-1 versus 2. It's number 1 versus number 4. It's Pine Bluffs versus Rocky Mountain in the 1A 9-man state championship tomorrow.
I mean, I think it's the same story as the 6-man game. Pine Bluffs is just too dominant. I mean, it's an uphill climb for Rocky Mountain in this one.
It's like a home game for Pine Bluffs. 80 miles from their home to play in Laramie. Rocky Mountain's got to drive over 2 or 3 mountain ranges to get there. So I'd like to root for Rocky Mountain. They've got some great athletes. A lot of those guys played on Lovell's state baseball championship last year, and they win track. They're just very solid athletes. But Pine Bluffs this year is heads above everybody in this class of football, and so while I hate to say it, it'll be Pine Bluffs.
I'm going to go with Pine Bluffs as well. Had a chance to see them at Shoshone this year, and I just forgot his name. As far Hunter Saltzgaber's the best running back I'd seen all season. Bubba Rushing was the best one in our small schools. As far as physical runners, as far as guys who want to look for contact, but have speed, Pine Bluffs may have one of the best ones I've seen. And his average, he was at one point in time like 32 yards per carry. Just nobody's been able to. When you look at his stats all year, no one's really been able to hold on to him. So, but they can throw the ball if they want. They want to. They don't normally want to. They want to, have. I would say they want to try and stretch it, the time and make it short, but no, because they have explosive play after explosive play. It's just out of a very tight, compact formation.
It's the first time that these two teams have ever met in a state title game.
And then, of course, the big one of them all, as they would say, the 4 p.m. game. Kind of wish they were getting to play under the lights tomorrow night for them. But in a game that has shall we say, a good amount of drama surrounding it now, and has been for a week. Number 1 Sheridan looking to 60+ wins in a row, looking to just add to that, looking to repeat. Going to host Campbell County, of course, who fired Ora Garst, head coach, about 7 days ago, for dropping some profanity on a kid. And it's been interesting. We've had people come in here, guys, wanting to talk about it, and some people saying, "Well, you can't do that. That's what the coach said." And yeah, you probably can't do that, but we've heard a lot of, "Hey, how soft is it?" Because again, it was profanity laden tirade, but kid at practice had his camera to film it. But nonetheless, what is Campbell County won the game without him? And now seems to be a motivated squad. They are the number 2 team. I do believe they played Sheridan already and played them tight. So that's going to be a really interesting game. It's just kind of weird that you've got a team going as far as they have and accomplishing a lot of firsts, as a lot of the stuff said this year, and all of a sudden going in the state semifinals, the coach is fired. So it'll be a good game, though. Of course, I guess I'll go first. As much as I want to pick Campbell County for those kids and the drama they're going through, and most of those kids don't deserve any of that, probably all of them. I got to go with Sheridan. I got to go with, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and I'm going with the man in Sheridan.
Well, this is for their 5th straight state title, I believe, or 4th straight, or something crazy like that. I mean, it was remarkable that Campbell County was able to win last week without a coach for half a week of preparation for a state semifinal. They played Cheyenne East, I believe. So that's not an easy game for sure. But I like this championship game because it's kind of a championship game from back before Thunder Basin was in the picture. Campbell County was always up there with Sheridan and Cheyenne East vying for a state title. So kind of a look to the old style 4A game. But yeah, I think Sheridan. It's just. No question. I think they got to win this one.
Now, in fairness, too, there is a large sentiment we found out from our friends at the Gillette News Record to play for Coach Garst. Large amount of parents and players showed up at that school board meeting in favor of him and trying to collect his job. But credit to him, he's owned it. He said he's taken the high road. He said he shouldn't have done it, and he's not fighting it. He's not appealing it. He's just taking it. He's taking it, as they would say, like a man. Cody? Thoughts on the game or on the coach?
You've got Sheridan, who's got a lot of links to the Riverton program through the years. Don Julian trained up the current coach, and I'm trying to think of his name, and I'm going to get crap all over the state for it, but he's from Riverton, and his mom was your middle school principal, Baylor.
Mowry.
Mowry, yes. Jeff Mowry.
Here we go.
Is the coach who took over for Don Julian, and he has continued the winning tradition that Julian started in Sheridan. Sheridan is not number one in rushing. They're not number one in passing. Matter of fact, they're down the list. Same with defense, but they believe, and they believe because there's a program there that focuses on the end game, and that's winning this game every year and getting there. Sheridan's going to win it. It's going to be close, though. Campbell County had a great season. Controversy aside, cell phones should not be allowed in locker rooms, period. They should be in a box in the coach's room, but that's just one man's opinion. So,
mind you, we're not defending what the coach did.
No, but you sort of did. But anyway, what I'm saying is that that's just wrong. It's wrong. It should not be something that happens. The coach, hey, he's full of integrity. He made a mistake. He owned up to it. But it happens all over the place. This one just got taped, and the coach was having a verbal disagreement with one player, so that's unfortunate. So, but anyway, Sheridan's going to win that game, and the Bronx will carry the hardware home again.
All right, so that is kind of our picks. Oddly enough, on the state title games, we didn't disagree on any of them. It's going to be one of those things, and we'll find out kind of what we all kind of went with is to quote Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And number one teams abound, and they're number one for a reason. I'm still trying to figure out why I get the name, but I'd never heard you mention the Baylor University and the Bears. But okay, as he's wearing a sweatshirt for a Big 12 team.
By the way, Pine Bluff's running back's name is Ty Scarborough, and he's the number one running back.
Okay, yeah.
Number one running back on their roster, averages 98 rushing yards per game, but he's also the number one defender in the state, averaging 25 defensive points a game.
Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. Because there's a guy, maybe I'm not thinking of Pine Bluffs. This guy's a short kid.
Well, that's the man.
Yeah, they are loaded. That said, that's why you play the games. 48 minutes to determine. You don't have to be better that day. You don't have to be better for a full hour. Be better for 48 minutes of play. So we're running out of time here like we normally are. We'll get to our picks in just a second. Of course, Wyoming with a huge game tomorrow at Fresno State. An improved Fresno State from the past couple seasons, at least nationally viewed that way. So big game tomorrow. 991 KWYW. Late game is the nightcap of which just means like 8:30 for us, but out east it'll be a 10:30 start, and it'll be on FS1 if you want to watch on TV, and if you want to listen to the pro Wyoming guys call it, turn down that TV and turn up 991 KWYW. Cody, any thoughts real quick?
Well, the Cowboys need to win this one desperately if they want to play in a bowl game. If they want to get bowl eligible, but it's frankly, I think they're playing for the survivability of their staff too. So I think it's a very important game, and a lot on the line. Fresno has been up and down all year long. I mean, they've gotten beat big, and then they
walk into Boise.
San Diego State. They beat Boise, and so who knows which Fresno team will show up. The one thing I was told was don't go out walking at night in Fresno.
No. It's
anyway, it'll be fun. Good road trip. and I'm heading for Laramie here in about an hour.
So ought to be a good game. It'll be, like you said, it'll be interesting to see what UW does with their coaches, simply because there's so many jobs that are already. It's just that you got so many elite level jobs too open. But Baylor, thoughts on Wyoming?
Well, I don't think they can fire Sawville yet. I think they can't afford the buyout, but which is an unfortunate thing with college sports. Well, whatever. You get your contract. You deserve your contract, whatever. But I think, a lot of people were disappointed after last week going into San Diego State only being able to put up 7 points. But that defense was excellent. I mean, it honestly rivaled the Utah defense that Wyoming faced earlier in the season. So I think, don't throw Bo Knight, the new offensive coordinator, to the Wolves just yet. Give him a few games to get his schemes in there and everything. And I think it'll be a great game. Fresno's a very beatable team. And just Wyoming needs to prove to themselves that they do belong with the top dogs of the Mountain West.
Well, and UW has to ask themselves some tough questions, too, as far as if they were to do it and were to afford and pay the buyout, are they an attractive enough job in this year to get one of the bigger names? Because, of course, they're not competing with Penn State, Florida, LSU. Well, maybe LSU with their governor going nuts, or Auburn. But when you start getting down the list, there are an absolute ton of jobs already open. So if you can wait a year, you might have a little bit better pick at the buffet, so to speak. But we're going to jump right to our pick 'em. So last week, winning was Kevin Simpson. Congratulations to him. He went 4-1. The rest of us went 3-2. Sans one individual who went 2-3, and that's why Cody and I are back tied at 37-19. Baylor at 33-23. Baylor's been coming on strong. He's just been trying to make up for the first 3 weeks.
I was trying to have fun when we started this out.
So
now I'm trying to win.
Yeah, so we're going to go first game, one of the big games of the day, playoff implications left and right, of course, with it, as the Oklahoma Sooners. Jim Nash, our program director's big fan of the Sooners, as Cody liked to make fun of this past weekend. Visit Tuscaloosa and Titletown and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Baylor, who you got?
Oh, I think you got to go Bama in this one. No offense to Nash at all, but yeah.
Roll Tide.
Tell you the interesting thing, because Oklahoma beat Bama last year like a drum, held them to 3 points. The only time Simpson for Bama has played poorly is when he's under a massive pass rush. Number one pass rush in the country is the Oklahoma Sooners. That said, it's in Tuscaloosa. They're ticked off. They got humiliated last year. Bama rolls in this by 2+ scores. Next up, Boise State traveling to San Diego State. Cody, who you got?
Depends which San Diego State team they play this week, but if they play the San Diego State team that beat Wyoming, they're gonna beat Boise. But I'm gonna say it's gonna be San Diego State, even though I don't care, because it's the pack stabber versus the pack stabber.
Okay, and the funny part, not only what San Diego State shows up, what Boise State shows up. They've shown weeks where they welcomed in somebody and just showed that they're still a team to go through, and then they have Fresno State beat them like a drum, and then Air Force runs wild.
Why are you
with
picking
them.
on drums today?
I don't know, just am. I'm actually gonna go with. I think the Broncos come in. I don't like San Diego State. I hate their field with a passion. I think it's the worst in all of Division I.
It's a beautiful place. I was there.
Oh, San Diego's gorgeous, but we're talking about San Diego State University, so I'm going with the Broncos of BSU.
Absolutely beautiful stadium.
I think Boise's kind of been weird this year. They've had a couple multi-point favorites, and they've just blown it. I think one of them was against Fresno. So I think San Diego State's been the most consistent team. This is at home for San Diego State. I got to go San Diego State.
All right, next up on a week with paper, but a game that will have some local students there and whatnot who went there. We've got a top 10 FCS matchup with huge playoff implications and conference implications. UC Davis going to face the Montana Grizz.
I don't even know where UC Davis is located, even though they're
Davis, California.
Well, they're considering playing Division I in football.
They've got a ton of money in boosters for some odd reason.
No doubt about it, but the Grizz are extremely tough to beat in Missoula, and that's who I'm going with.
Baylor.
The top predator, by the way.
Yeah, I think Montana will win this one. They're used to being they're accustomed to being the top dog, and so I think they take care of business.
Well, and I probably should have looked at the weather because that's the reason I'm favoring Montana. UC Davis in the past couple of years has struggled with cold when they got into the playoffs. Now, granted, they get decently far. Yeah. Now, that said, they've made a game of it. They're a solid football team. I said they're one of the more well-backed booster FCS teams, which is one of the reasons why they're able to discuss going to Division I, because they've got to expand the stadium big time. They got to do a lot, and they've got a ton of money to do it. Of course, Pac-12 looking, or Pac-8 or Pac-7 or whatever, Pac whatever it's going to be. But going with Montana as well. Now we get to Sunday.
One more comment on that. UC Davis is actually contractually in the Mountain West starting 2026 for basketball.
Okay.
So I would. The Pack Stabbers, I think they don't have a leg against the Mountain West if they do want to come to Division I.
It depends on what they do and what the outs are for bringing in football. I just heard did you hear something? Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, through here I heard like a tune. I think we're picking up something from somewhere else in the building. Okay, we've got, of course, a big game. Of course, Josh Allen has not looked kind of himself 2 of the past 3. And it shows on my fantasy team. You got the Bucks traveling up to the Bills, and I'll pick it first because Cody always accused me of waiting until he picks. I'm going to go with the Bills, but I'll tell you, the Bills need to bring their A game because the Bucks travel pretty well. They're a good, solid team, and if Josh Allen has a game like he did against last week,
He had a good game last week in fantasy football.
Not good enough for me. Of course, my running backs are awful. But so I'm going to go with the Bills, and solely because they're at home.
I think I'll go Bills too. Josh Allen shines in the 225 time slot. I think this one's at 225. It might be at 11, but regardless, I think this is a get-right game for them. Tampa Bay is vulnerable, so that's what I'm going with.
And we
Bills.
already know who he's going to pick. He'll never pick against the Bills. He's incapable of doing it because he's
Tampa
just
Bay.
a fanboy.
Tampa Bay lost a tough one last week against New England. Their backs are against the wall, but the Bills, they have to win and win now and win the rest of the way. So it'll be Buffalo at home.
All right, and last up, Monday Night Football like we always do. It'll be Jerry Jones's Dallas Cowboys going to Al Davis's, formerly Al Davis's,
Yeah, he's dead.
Las Vegas Raiders. Cody, who you got? It's actually tough.
I will never take the Raiders in any game ever. So there you have it. They're absolutely a putrid football team.
I think the Cowboys offense can outrun the Raiders offense because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense in this game. And so I think Dallas takes it.
Well, this is one we're going to disagree with. I'm going with Las Vegas at home. They have the best player of amongst the two teams in Brock Bowers. And number 2 is Jerry Jones deserves everything he gets until he actually hires a GM. So I think it's going to be disappointing for the Dallas Cowboys. I think we're going to find out why one of the most overrated draft picks, one of the most overrated players of all time is Dak Prescott. He's just not a good NFL leader. He doesn't win. I'm going off on Dallas right now. I lived in Dallas for 5 years, and it was during the Tony Romo days, and I heard enough about how Tony Romo was elite. Dak Prescott makes Tony Romo look like he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Wow.
I have no respect for the former Mississippi State Bulldog and how he has somehow...
Brock Bowers has done nothing this year.
And Jerry Jones as well for somehow making him so high paid and then just not caring about any other part of the game. So, Jerry Jones, you're a loser. You're going to lose this one. Las Vegas by 10 or more.
That's why he wanted to pick this game, because he wanted to make that speech.
I don't have a lot of love. I have a lot of love for the Dallas people, not for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, because he has ruined one of the most storied franchises of all time in any sport.
Wow. They're worth like $20 billion.
Oh, they're worth a ton of money. Oh, financially, they're worth everything. But he's been unable to do what we saw like Ted Turner do with the Atlanta Braves back in the 90s when the Braves stunk for 20 years and finally said, you know what, maybe I ought to hire this guy Sherholz to come in and run my baseball team. And then a baseball guy comes in, look what happens.
The biggest mistake Jerry Jones made was firing or having a divorce from Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson had led Dallas to the promised land, and they just couldn't, the former roommates just couldn't get along anymore. And so Jimmy left, and then Barry, whatever his name is, Switzer came in and
won a
ruined the
Super Bowl,
franchise. About ruined the franchise himself, and it was over. It was over. And then the biggest thing that I remember about Dallas since then is Leon Lett. So.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson is a lot like Bill Parcells. There's a good documentary about how he came in and he ran it like a college game. He couldn't do it nowadays, with tough discipline, and he kind of knew that's good for 3, 4, 5 years maybe, kind of like Bill Parcells, and then it kind of wears a little thin and egos get involved. But Jerry Jones, yes, big mistake, divorce with Jimmy Johnson. To me, even bigger mistake, taking, what was that, mid-90s? Still has not decided to go a football guy route. Hires puppets, lets his son play GM. It's just, y'all have already got me started. So we're out of time. We want to thank you for joining us here on WyoToday Sports Live. We'll be back next Friday. We'll be actually looking ahead, and we have one big announcement, so hopefully you've tuned in so far. On Tuesday, on one of two shows, on either Wyoming Wake Up with Nash or on the Rock and Roll Show with Kirk Baxter. So you need to listen till 10 o'clock to KTAK, and then from 10 to 1 to KFCW. We will be giving away 4 tickets and a parking pass to go watch the University of Wyoming face Nevada Reno. But the bigger news, of course, Josh Allen going to be in the building having his jersey retired. So that will be Tuesday morning, sometime between 6 and 1. One of our, either Kirk or Nash is going to say, hey, 8th caller, 9th caller, 20th caller, whatever it may be, and someone's walking away with tickets to a sold-out game at War Memorial.
In a snowstorm. In a blizzard with the wind blowing 50 miles an hour.
For Cody and Baylor Beers, this has been Kevin Shields. We'll see you next week on WyoToday Sports Live here on 101.7 KDNO.